Hey guys, welcome to Wine Down Wednesday, episode 3. It's your girl Malaya J, and as you can see, we're switching up the vibe this week. I am at home. This is actually my new apartment, so I wanted to invite you guys in. Today's going to be a little more calm, a little more chill, a little more personal. I wanted to get more personal with you guys and talk to you more about me. I don't really get too personal, or I have not yet. This is only episode 3 of Wine Down Wednesday. So I wanted to get a little bit more personal with you guys and I guess just get to know y'all. Like, I want y'all to get to know me, and I want to get to know y'all so that y'all can continue to watch every week and know who you're watching, know what my intentions are, why I started doing this YouTube show, and you know, I want to connect more, so I want us to resonate with each other a little bit more, and so we're here. I wanted to invite you guys into my new apartment. I know this is only one little scene of it, but I will definitely give you all an apartment tour whenever I feel like it is ready. So before we get started, today what we're going to be drinking is Barefoot Watermelon. So as I always say, I am not the biggest fan of sweet wines, but today I will be drinking this because it's not my typical like go-to when I'm really trying to do like something, but this is a go-to of mine when I'm just kind of like chilling in the house. This is a wine that I'll typically have in my refrigerator because it's more like a cooler. Like, it's kind of like a cooler refresher. It's something pretty good to have with dinner, you know. So if you just don't want to have juice or water for dinner and you want to get a little bit cute with some wine, but you're not trying to really like wind too down for the night, this is a really good wine to go to. And even though I do not like sweet wines, watermelon is one of my favorite flavors, you guys. So this is a really good wine to me. This is one of my go-tos. You'll probably find this in my refrigerator anytime you come over because, like I said, it's just one of those, you know, chill vibes, nice little dinner wine. So this is what we're going to be drinking today. Alright, so let's get into this conversation. It's kind of harder to talk to y'all when like y'all are not here. I feel, you know, I feel more like I'm recording when I'm by myself, when y'all are not actually like here in the room, versus when I have somebody in the room. You know what I mean? When I have somebody in the room, I don't feel as much like I'm recording. I feel like I'm literally just like having a conversation. But today, let's speak a little bit more on me. So I don't want to start out too deep, but I do eventually want to go deep. I want to share the last episode when I was with Gabby. I continuously said, like, you know, 2022 was a pivotal year for me. It was a lot for me. It was hard for me, but it was life-changing, I will say. And yeah, pivotal year is probably the best way that I could describe it, to be 100% honest. So I want to just introduce myself a little further than I usually would, besides saying, hey, it's your girl Malaya J, you watching Wine Down Wednesday. I just want to, you know, introduce myself a little further and then get into what I've overcome in the last year, where I'm at now, and what my plans are for the future. And hopefully I can stay on track with this. Being that I don't have somebody to talk to, I can sit here and ramble. But anyway, so before we get into it, cheers. Ooh, that wine is so sweet, but it's so good. It really is good. It tastes like juicy, guys. Like, it don't even taste like a wine. But anyway, so as y'all know, my name is Malaya. I'm 27 years old. I went to Alderdice High School in Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I went to Clarion College. Clarion College. I went to Clarion University for college. I studied digital media, mass media, which is like radio, journalism, photography, videography, everything, you know, broadcasting, everything that has to do with communication. in the world. We even got into a little bit of graphic. I took a graphic design class. So like the world of media is just like my love language. Like that's what I really, really love. I love media. I love production. I love all of that. So that goes into why I began this YouTube channel, because I wanted to be able to incorporate production and media into my everyday life now. Incorporating it into my everyday life is a lot easier said than done. As you can see, I'm really like this. Me dropping something every single week is actually pushing myself. Like I'm really trying my best to stay consistent this year, because I'm like, listen, like I said in the last video, I always am excited to do stuff, and I'll start off strong, and then I'll kind of like fall off eventually. So I'm really practicing my follow through, practicing not letting certain things get into the way, practicing not, you know, having excuses, not giving myself excuses. Something that I came across, I think it was last week. It was either last week or this past week and last week, same thing. I came across one of my favorite YouTubers. Her name is Shantia Deja. She is a YouTuber that I watch every single day. She posts videos and she makes faith-based content. So she talks about God and talk about you know, just having a relationship with God, how you can relate it to your day-to-day. She gives Bible verses, you know, talking about just things that are going on in life right now, prophetic words and stuff like that. So shout out to Shantia. She's literally one of my favorite YouTubers, if not my favorite. And she has, like, her channel is so simple. She literally gets on there, gives a word, get in, get out, and that's it. And she's my favorite. So she posted a quote that I did post on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I never mention my social medias. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on wait, what did I just say Instagram, right? Follow me on Instagram at Malaya. I'm going to literally list them because I have 3 Instagram accounts, you guys. So follow me on all 3 of them, because all 3 have different content. My personal Instagram is Malaya J. It's at Malaya J. My business, more production Instagram is all things with an S Maj. And my other business account, which is all of my skincare products and hair care products and self-care products, is Ivy Lux Life, I think. It's either, yeah, I think it's Ivy Lux Life. It's either, I'm gonna post it on here, and don't judge me. Don't judge me. I got 3 Instagram accounts, y'all. Do not judge me. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. But anywho, so on my personal page, I believe, yeah, on my personal page, I posted a quote that she had said last week, which was, every season requires a new version of yourself. And that really stuck to me, because in the video, she went more into it, and she was talking about how we'll use old excuses, you know, but want new results. And don't quote me on that. If I can, I will find the video and link her actual video in the description. But she was basically saying something about that, like, you know, how we'll want to move on and be in different seasons and, you know, pray for different things and look for different results, but we'll use the same old excuses, like. So that really stuck with me, and the reason it stuck with me is because I know that I'm a person that does that. You know, I'm not saying that I don't progress. I feel like I'm a very forward person. I move forward, I progress, I move on, I do things and stuff like that. But, you know, just like everybody, I am a huge procrastinator. And when I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I always kind of like give myself an excuse. I used to. I don't do that anymore. I feel like I'm doing a really good job with holding myself accountable more. But before, I definitely would give myself an excuse. And it would just be something simple. Like, for example, doing YouTube videos. I would be like, oh, my hair's not done. Or, you know, I don't have time to do my makeup. Or I don't have an outfit to put on. Just like the bare minimum that I can find to use as an excuse, I would. You know, like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't really have a good background to use. I don't really have anything like that's interesting to do today. I want to wait till I got a busier day to record and vlog. But now I'm like, every season requires a new version of yourself. So like, if the old me was using excuses and allowing small things like that to get in the way of me just making a simple video like this one, like I'm right at home, I'm sitting in front of one of my chairs, I have on a robe, my hair is tied up, I have on zero makeup, I'm currently cooking, I got my lasagna in the oven right now. You know what I mean? Like, pulled out one of my most simple bottles of wine, and I felt like it was so fitting because I'm just at home, and this is literally like one of the most chill wines that I drink when I'm at home. And I just where was I going with that? I said I had to say basically that I just don't want to, you know, use the same old excuses. There's no lasagna. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm back. I had to go get the lasagna out the oven real quick, but yes, I was saying that to say that I just don't want to limit myself by using the same old excuses that I used to use back then, because now that time has passed and I look back and I see all the things that I did not do and then think about why I didn't do them, the biggest reason is because I gave myself excuses. So that's something that I definitely want to change this year and on. You know, I want to change that starting this year and just continue to make that a trend for me, like being more accountable, being more committed. And yeah, so with that, I feel like the fact that I'm being more accountable and being more committed with the things that I say I'm going to do, it makes me a lot more mindful with the things that I say I'm going to do, if that makes sense. Like, I used to be a person, I would kind of commit to everything, like, oh yeah, I can do that, oh yeah, cool, I got time to do that, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And the next thing you know, something is either getting half stepped or it's getting not done at all because I forgot about it. I wasn't truly committing myself to it. So now the things that I say out of my mouth, like the things that I say I'm going to do, I'm a lot more mindful of them because I want to make sure that I can commit to it. And the things that I commit to, I want to make sure they have intention behind it. Like, I don't want to just commit to things just because I can, or just because I might have the time. I want to make sure I'm committing to the things that are meaningful, like the things that are going to get me to the goals that I have, that are going to be helpful to me, helpful to my family, that are just going to be beneficial in me overall being a better person. Like, I don't want to just keep on committing to things because I can, because that's not a big enough reason to really hold yourself accountable. So with that being said, I will for sure be posting at least once a week because I'm committing to doing Wind Down Wednesday every week. I even tried to give myself an excuse this week, like, oh, well, I don't have a guest, or my guest canceled on me, so maybe I should just make it a bi-weekly thing. But now I'm going to do it every single week. Even if I don't have a guest, if I don't have like an actual topic, if I have to make like a 5-minute video, you know what I mean, if I got to get on, whatever I got to do, I'm going to post on Wind Down Wednesday every single week. And it'll become more than once a week because I'm going to post other segments. I want to definitely get more into the vlog, and I want to get more into just showing like events or things that I have going on in my life, doing more story times, doing more get ready with me's. But currently I just moved to a new apartment, so I'm getting, what would I say, acclimated. I'm still getting acclimated. I'm still working my way into my morning routines, my night routines. So once I get all of that like really settled and I'm in a good habit of doing it, I definitely want to share those, because night routines and morning routines are something that I feel like are like so important when it comes to how you construct your day and how you like go throughout your week, and just staying balanced and keeping your sanity, you know, mental health. Like, self-care and mental health like literally are kissing cousins. Like they go hand in hand, they hold hands all day long. So if you're not giving yourself enough self-care, then your mental health is not going to be there. So that's why getting a night routine and a morning routine solidified for myself is extremely important, because when I wake up in the morning, when I really get up at 5 in the morning and I come in here and make myself a cup of coffee, make me a little avocado toast, or make me a good fruit smoothie, like, you guys, I feel so good throughout the day. Like, it makes such a huge difference in my days, to the point where I'm like, dang, why am I like stripping myself of this? Like, I shouldn't keep stripping myself of something that makes me feel really, really good, you know? So yeah, definitely want to do that. Definitely want to be more consistent, more intentional, more balanced. Definitely do more self-care, make sure I'm committing to things that are meaningful, and that when I commit to them, I really follow through with them. And I said, and one more thing that I want to put onto that point is not committing to too much. Like, I am infamous for committing to too much, and I figured out that it is okay to find like 1 or 2 things to commit to and do it full throttle. Excuse me, y'all know I'm a burper. Excuse me. But yeah, I am really getting myself more comfortable with committing to less things so that I can do more with them, if that makes sense. Commit to less things to do more with them. Put more behind it, give it more energy, make it make more sense, you know, just like really take one thing and complete it, and then after that I can move on to the next and complete it, because I'm such a multitasker. I'm always trying to, you know, my mind is like so quick moving, so I'm constantly chasing stimulation. And I feel like that is something that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's something that we all suffer from. And they try to call it ADHD, they call it this, they call it that. But some people truly are just, I feel like some people's minds are just like faster or slower than others when it comes to certain things. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to me, when it comes to creativity and doing activities, my mind moves really fast. So I'm constantly chasing stimulation intellectually when it comes to creativity or learning something new. So this is why I have to orchestrate my days to really fulfill that, so that I'm not just out here moving around doing a whole bunch of stuff to fulfill my brain, and then when I look around at the end of the week, I didn't accomplish anything meaningful that I really needed to do. So working on that this year. That's different than drinking out of a wine glass. But yeah, so what are some other things I wanted to talk to y'all about? So that's pretty much in a nutshell, I guess, just who I am, where I am right now mentally, and who, like, you know, yeah, where I am right now, and like how I want to moving forward to get to my future goals. So now let's take a little step back and talk about 2022. We ain't gonna go back that far. I got stories for days. If we were to talk about from the beginning of the from pre-pandemic to pandemic to post-pandemic, man, I would have. I feel like that was pivotal for everybody, whether it was good or bad or both. You know, I feel like that was pivotal for everybody. But I wanted to touch a little bit more on 2022, because 2022 was like a year for me. Okay, like quick. So let's start off. I'll say, I guess this is kind of like a story time wind down Wednesday, because this is somewhat of like a testimony for me about how I got here, like where I am now mentally, how I feel emotionally, physically, and all that. So I'm being a little vulnerable right now, guys. If you can't tell, I'm not really used to sitting here like this talking about my personal life. I'm a very private person. I don't really share my personal life at all. Like I share my work, and you know, things like that. But when it comes to my personal life, I don't share that too much at all. So this is new for me. So bear with me if I'm like, you know, a little monotone and not so excited. And you know, I told you this is going to be more of a chill vibe, more comfortable, more personal. So let's just work through this. So yeah, 2020. Let's actually start from the end of 2021, because I feel like that has a lot to do with a lot. So at the end of 2021, I got completely got out of a 5-year relationship that I was in, that I got into in college, and I graduated, was with this man, and yeah, we were together for 5 whole years. We were really like stuck like glue. Like, he's still a really good friend of mine. Like, he's an awesome person, loyal, you know, really trustworthy, and just a good friend, just a good human being overall. But you know, once we, like I said, we met in college, so we were those people then in college. And now we're these people now, you know, so many years later. And the reason why I want to start there at that breakup is because I feel like that is, even during the breakup, was a time where I was truly getting to know myself, because I had been with him through college, came home, and completely began adulthood with him, like being in a relationship with him. And I feel like post-graduation is a time where you really have to get to know the world that you live in, and you have to get to know yourself and figure out how you fit in the world, or how you don't fit in the world, whichever way you want to look at it. So when you go through that point in life with somebody, I feel like that is like, it makes it kind of difficult to know who you are as a single person. So like, if you don't end up marrying that person, by the time y'all split up, it's going to be like, all right, boom, I got to figure out who I am alone again, you know. So going through so many changes in school, you kind of find who you are when you're in school. Then you come home, you get into the real world, and you figure out who you are all over again. And to do that with a person, and then to have to do that without a person, it's a lot. Like, you know, it really shows you different things. It shows you how much you are attached to somebody when you take time away from them. Like, you see how many friends you have in common, how many activities you were doing together, and like, dang, I wasn't really doing too much of anything by myself, which is cool, because I mean, that's what a relationship is. But it's very easy as an individual to get lost in something like that, you know what I mean? So starting from there, because like I said, that was pivotal to my life. Like, I feel like I was going through a time where I had to relearn myself and figure out what I like to do by myself, why I wasn't fulfilled anymore in that relationship, if I ever could be fulfilled in that relationship again, what I needed to do to make myself happy so that I can be fulfilled in any relationship. You know, it was a lot. Getting closer to God, you know what I mean? Like, figuring out where my belief system lied. Okay, so what had happened was the camera died, y'all. So I decided to go and, you know, get myself a little lasagna to eat. But I'm back. What's going on? Okay, so where were we before the camera rudely interrupted us and died? I really have to get an extra battery or two for the camera, so that when it dies, I don't have to wait a whole 30 to 40 minutes to recharge it back up. Let me make 100% sure that it's recording, because we don't need another mishap. We just don't. Alright, we're good. Okay, guys, so where we were was, and I'm gonna keep the abrupt stop in there as well, because I want this to be as authentic as possible. So I'm going to do a little bit of editing, but I'm really going to leave as much stuff in there as I can. But where were we? So I was talking about me getting to know myself, and I fell into the subject of my belief system. Basically, I think where I was going with that was just, that's a huge part of getting to know myself, you know, getting to know my belief system, what I'm truly relying on for guidance and wisdom and understanding and truth, you know what I mean? So with that being said, getting past that breakup, my goodness, getting past that breakup and having some time to myself to really figure out who I was again, figure out, you know, the differences of me from when I first started a relationship to, you know, being in the relationship for those years, and then ultimately exiting the relationship. I took some time to myself, learned myself, fell in love with myself, and then I met someone else. And it's all, I can't sit here and act like this didn't kind of happen quick, you know what I mean? So I ended up meeting somebody else, long story short, and truly connected with him. Like, we had so much in common, like so much in common. Everything just seemed perfectly imperfect, if you will, you know. Like, it just seemed so perfectly imperfect. And I don't know if it was me being vulnerable, nonetheless, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if everything was that perfect, or if I was just that vulnerable at the time, because I had just I had been out of the relationship, but we had finally really cut ties in that way, you know. And about 2 or 3 months later, I fall into this situation. And yeah, I don't know if it was just because I was vulnerable at that point, or if things really were perfect. Like, it was so perfect that it didn't even feel like dating. It didn't feel like we were trying to be romantic. It just felt like I had found like a new best friend, basically, you know. Like, we just completely meshed, and I don't know, it went really well. So we got along real good. Things moved kind of fast. We kind of felt like we fell in love. All the while, I had already made plans to move to a new city. So all of this happened, and then I ended up moving to a new city. While I was gone, we still kept in touch. We were still, you know, talking to each other every day. Like, we kind of really, like, I felt like the distance made us kind of really hit it off too, because we were talking a whole lot more. Just like I don't know. It was where it was difficult. I had never done any type of like long distance relationship or anything like that before, and I had never like moved so fast with somebody either. So everything was different, everything was new, but everything was so like comfortable. Like, I really can't honestly say anything bad about it. Like, everything was really cool until the end, like the very end. We started getting distant. I feel like the trust got, like, I don't even want to say the trust really, but kind of like, I feel like the trust kind of got a little weird because of the distance. Plans weren't going the way they were planned. Like usual, you know, things always happen. We thought we were going to reunite a lot sooner than we did, and then we didn't. And ultimately, this person ends up getting murdered. Yeah, like this. It was so strange because the weeks leading up to it, I want to say like the 2 weeks leading up to it, I just had like a really bad feeling. And it wasn't that, I don't know, I didn't think it was going to be that, obviously, but he had just become really distant, and he was really involved in, you know, whatever it was he was doing back at home. So we just kind of started getting really distant, and we were talking less and less and less and less and less. And then, you know, one day I just did not hear from him at all, which was very unlike him. Because, like I said, we talked all the time. We went from talking every day, all day, to talking just sometimes, to then not talking at all. And I kind of sensed that something was wrong. I started getting really worried. And I just, yeah, I think I was like blowing his phone up like really bad like this one morning, because I woke up and realized, like, hold on, I didn't hear from him the whole day. Like, that's extremely weird. Like, you know, I woke up, didn't hear from him, went throughout the day, didn't hear from him, went to bed, didn't hear from him, woke back up, and still was no like, oh my bad, like just nothing. So I'm like, wait a minute, something's really off. Like something bad happened. So finally, I don't want to get too into detail about it. Honestly, I'm not really like ready to. I don't even want to say ready. I'm just not really like. I don't want to make the video about that, you know, because I can get very detailed and stuff like that. But so I ended up finding out, you know, that he was murdered, and it took a huge toll on me. Like, it just took a really big toll on me, because all the while dating him and getting to know him, we had certain conversations that I could truly say did like restore my faith. And you know what I mean, it pushed me back towards my true belief system, and that I will forever be grateful for, you know. So I do realize that all things happen for a reason. Why that had to happen in that way, I'll never understand or know, but you know, things happen for a reason, and I trust God, so I know that it happened the way that it was supposed to, and it's unfortunate, and it really took a huge toll on me. But like I said, I'm a person who truly tries to pull more of the positive, or just more of the reality out of situations than bad. So like, rather than taking too much time to feel sorry for myself and stuff, and of course I went through it. I went through it for a while, for months, for, you know, I feel like I'm kind of just now getting back into a space where I'm able to settle in it a whole lot more. But where was I going with that? Yes, I try to take more good out of it than bad. And at that moment when I went through that, I had never gone through something like that before. I never lost somebody that was so close to me that I was talking to every single day, you know, and really bonded with like that. I just never went through anything like that. I never went through that kind of grief, you know, so it was real heavy on me and really different for me. And it pushed me closer to my Bible. You know, I just started reading because I wanted to I really wanted to gain understanding of death. So with gaining understanding of death, it helps you gain a lot of understanding on life, believe it or not, you know. So that was definitely something that really it took a huge toll on me. It took a really big toll on me. I never really talk about it too often. I still don't plan to, but it is something that was huge in my life and something that was very unique for me to go through, very heavy. And that, like, I don't think I've ever really felt physically that potent, like that hard. Like that was, like, I'm typically a really easygoing person, like, and like I said, I try to take the positive out of everything. So for something so negative to happen like that, and I didn't have a choice but to feel it. I really felt it. Like, it was it felt real heavy. Like, that was the most that I had felt in a long time, you know, like emotionally and physically and spiritually even. Like, that was the most that I had felt in a long time. And maybe one day I'll make another video about like the spiritual experiences that I've had, like before and after that situation, that I feel like really molded me to who I am today as well. And but right now, like I said, I don't want to make the entire video about that. But yeah, so that experience was really big for me. It did a lot for me in a good way, because like I said, I became kind of obsessed with understanding death. Like, I'm like, why would this happen? Why would it happen now? Why do things, like, you know what I mean, just why do people have to die young, or why do things like this have to happen? I just needed understanding about it so I could feel better about it, or find some kind of peace within it. So along with finding peace, dang, I just keep falling all out and all that. I got a sports bra on there, y'all. Naked. So along with finding peace in death and like having some kind of understanding about it, you also find peace with life. And like, you understand why it's so important to live, why it's so important to not get distracted by things that take life from you. And I don't necessarily mean like kill you, but just waste your time, like, you know, steal time away from you. It also gives you an understanding of what we're living for, and not to allow things to make a slave out of you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't ever want to let money or other people make slaves out of you. You want to always make sure you're living and you're doing things that you want to do, because the only way to get it done is to do it. You always want to make sure that you're positive, make sure you're leaving a positive impact in the world, make sure that you're being helpful to others, being of service, like really just being alive. Like, I don't really know a good word to sum it all up, but really just being alive, you know, enjoying life. Don't allow yourself to become a slave to misery, because that is a thing. You can become a slave to misery, you can become a slave to fear, you can become a slave to, dang, the wind is blowing hard. You can become a slave to negativity, and you just don't want to allow that. So that is, in a nutshell, what that whole experience really taught me. And like I said, I'm very thankful for that, because it drew me closer to God. It drew me closer to the Bible. I feel like it gave me a lot more wisdom and understanding. And the reason why I would say that is because realizing that there's certain stuff you can't control, like death. You know, that's something that you can do absolutely nothing about. So you have to just sit with it. And I remember talking about it in the last episode, like being a control freak and then life forcing you to realize that you're not in control. Death is one of those things that will force you to realize that you are not in control. You know, that you are not in control, because I couldn't wish that away. I couldn't pray that away. I couldn't will it away. I couldn't go back to sleep and wake up and it not still be a reality. Like, it was what it was, and I had to sit with it, and I had to face it every day. You know, I had to just face it, you know, and that's just what it was. And that was the only way that I was able to get over it, because I faced it. I didn't run from it at all. I faced it. I dealt with it. I sat in it. I cried. I just allowed it to show me, you know, what reality is, and that we are just a part of it. And I feel like that is one of the biggest lessons that I've ever learned in my whole entire life, and it's helped me find peace in life, because now I realize that I can't control life, and that has given me so much peace. Y'all, when I tell you, when you are stuck, look, being a slave to control, when you are stuck in a place where you believe that you can control everything that has to do with your life, because I didn't think I could control life. I just thought I could control everything that has to do with me. But you gotta realize, when you step into a room with other people, they all feel the same way. So it's like, if we're all in a room where we all feel like we could control exactly everything that has to do with us, but we all have different intentions, we all have different motives, different plans, everybody in that room ain't gonna walk out satisfied. Somebody's gonna be disappointed. Somebody's gonna be surprised. Somebody's gonna be happy. Somebody's gonna be sad. Somebody's gonna be angry. Somebody's gonna be fulfilled. Somebody's gonna learn. Somebody's gonna rebel. You know, because if we're all sharing one room, we all have different plans, and we all have like strong will to believe that we can control the room because we're in it. That's foolishness, you know. And I had to really learn that, and that is the biggest lesson. If I could wrap up in a nutshell 2020, that is the biggest lesson that I learned. Because even before, dang, the wind is blowing so hard and I'm just listening to it blow everything. Okay, that's my neighbors. But in a nutshell, if I could just literally think about the biggest lesson that I learned in 2022, that was it. Was that, you know, we can't control everything. And what else did that help me realize? Oh, before even dealing with his death, I was dealing with, like, you know, my living situation. Like I said, I moved, but I kind of jumped the gun because I was excited. And things were going fabulous at a point, and then they just weren't. You know, I went through a point where I got scammed out of an apartment. So I was then homeless. I was staying in hotels and motels. I was keeping all of my stuff in the storage. My storage unit ended up getting robbed. I lost a lot of valuable things to me. I lost a lot of money getting scammed out of that apartment. What else? I got my window busted and out of my Jeep. Like, there was just so much going on. Like, when I tell you, and I do want to make this point because I feel like this matters. Before I went through all of that stuff, I had, well, no. The first thing was getting scammed out of an apartment. So, like I said, I had to go through being homeless, living in hotels. I slept in my car for a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? If I'm being all the way real, I slept in my car for a minute. But yeah, I was hotel hopping and all this stuff. And right before all of that happened, when I found out that I had got scammed out of the first apartment, I sat in the closet. I was getting the last couple things in the closet to pack into my car to take over to the storage, and I just dropped to my knees because I felt so weak and hopeless, and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was next. The second I felt like I was finally settled, everything turned upside down, and I realized that, you know, I needed to pray. So I fell to my knees in the closet and I just prayed and I cried, and, you know, I just let it all out, and I was praying, and I told God, like, I need for you to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. I need a sign. I need for you to hit me with your hardest blows, like unmistakable things that I will not miss, because I need to know what I'm supposed to be doing next. Am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to go back home? Like, what exactly do I need to be doing? So I prayed that prayer, and once, like, literally, I feel like the second I prayed that prayer, everything started coming down on me. Like, all of that, like, everything started happening. So at first I was taking it like, is all of this happening just to test me, to see if I really want to be here, to see what I'm willing to go through, to see if I am strong enough to go through it? And I did. I was strong enough to go through it all until it got to the point where, you know, he got murdered, and I ended up finding that out, and then that was the last straw for me. I was very weak after that, and I ended up coming back home because I then seen the value in family and stuff like that. I seen the value in family, the value in friends, the value of being in familiar surroundings around people who love you and know you, versus being in a whole nother city with nobody, chasing money, you know? Like, I was being a slave to money, and I didn't realize it because I was also chasing my dreams. But I can chase my dreams wherever I'm at. Like, wherever my body is at, I can chase my dreams. The reason I went to Houston is because I felt like there was more people and more money there, and that my dreams would come faster. I feel like I can control the narrative by moving, and that is what God showed me. That's what life showed me, you know? So, lesson learned. I'll tell you one thing about me. I might be a little stubborn, I might be a little hard-headed, but I'm not stupid, especially after a situation like that. So I felt like that really matured me, and I gained a whole lot more understanding for life. I gained a whole lot more understanding for the important things in life, and the things that will come as you learn to value what is important in life. And yeah, I feel like I just gained so much understanding and wisdom. Like, I felt like I grew up like that, just in that quick time period, and that quick instant. I felt like I finally grew up, and now here I am today. So with that peace and understanding of life, and like new values and stuff, in the future I plan to, well, this year I can't really like plan far out in the future because you never know what's going to happen, but as far as right now, one second. As far as now, I can plan for, like, you know, the next year and see how that goes. The biggest thing that I'm going to do this year is follow through with my plans. I want to be more intentional with my plans and be more consistent with my goals, and with making sure I'm taking strides and things to get to where it is that I want to be. And I want to wholeheartedly rest in the Lord. I want to rest in the Lord because I've been shown, that that's very necessary in seasons of your life. And I feel like in this season of my life, I am absolutely not, when I say rest in the Lord, I don't mean work any less, but just work smarter instead of harder. Be more intentional. And I keep saying that over and over and over, but like I really need that to sink in. Like be a whole lot more intentional. Make sure the things that I'm doing have purpose. Finding my purpose. Working towards my purpose. Purpose, y'all. The reason that we're alive is for a purpose. You know what I mean? So make sure that you really hone in on that purpose. Take the time to feed it, water it. Make it first priority because that's what it is, first priority. That's the reason we're alive. So I really want to, find my purpose, walk in my purpose. And yeah, that's really it. Now, I know them goals probably sound super simple, especially compared to how I used to be like, oh, I want a new house, I want a new car, I want my businesses to thrive, I want to do this, I want to make sure my husband's perfect, I want to have kids, I want to, like, of course, I still want all of that, but I realized that in order to get that, you have to work smarter, not harder, which means work in your purpose, figure out your purpose, and I'm not saying it's going to be a quick little, oh, what's my purpose? Boom, here's your purpose. No. That's not how that goes. But as long as what you're doing is striving toward your purpose, this is just my opinion and my experience, I feel like as long as what you're doing is striving towards your purpose, you will find it, or you will at least find the road to it. And as you walk that road, all the things that you want will come, all the things that you need will come. So just focus on what matters, which is your purpose, your family, love, spreading positivity. And as you do that, literally everything that you want in life is going to come to you. Everything that you need in life will be provided for you. And I literally live in that every single day. So like I'm a walking testimony that once you finally stop being a slave to control, stop being a slave to money, stop trying to control the narrative and make plans and manifest everything that you want for your own selfish reason, and really just start to pick up and hone in on what is your purpose and where are you supposed to be, what are you supposed to be doing, not where do you want to be and what do you want to be doing. Figure out what you're supposed to be doing, because literally as you do what you're supposed to do, like this is not my first time like ever experiencing this either. I figured this out a few years ago and then I lost it because I got distracted by the things that I wanted. And it's easy to do that when everything starts coming to you easily, you know what I mean? And that's what will happen when you start doing what you're supposed to do, when you're walking in your purpose. Things will start to come to you easily, and you can easily get lost in that because you can get prideful. You know what I mean? You start thinking like, oh, I did that. And of course, and yeah, you did do that. But you got to remember the road that you walk to get where you are, rather than just looking at where you are and looking at everything that you have and being up on a pedestal. You got to remember the road. You got to remember the road, because that is the most important part. Where you end up is never the story. The story is the road that you walk to get there. So with that being said, I'm gonna end this video because I feel like I've literally said everything I needed to say to kind of open up to y'all, let y'all know who I am, how I feel, where I'm at right now in my life, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And we can leave off on this and pick up on the next one on Wednesday. Like, I hope that I hope I wasn't all over the place. I know that I can just chatter and ramble, but I really hope this gave you some kind of insight on who I am and why I speak the way I speak, why I am how I am, why I view certain things the way that I do. And yeah, I want to do this more often. I like this. I thought it was going to be like blah, but I know it wasn't probably as entertaining as, my conversations with other people, but I feel like this is necessary. We got to have balance. We got to have, the turn-ups, and then we also have to have the whatever this is called. We gotta have quality time. This is quality time on Wind Down Wednesday, y'all. So thank y'all so much for watching. If you haven't already, go watch episode 2 because it was so much fun with Gabby. Gabby, I want to thank you again for coming on the show. I had so much fun with you, and I would love to have you back again. If anybody is interested in coming on the show, make sure you hit me up. I got a lot of people that hit me up asking me to come on the show, so I will be having a whole lot more guests. But like I said, we're going to keep it balanced. We got to spend some quality time every now and again. So thank you guys for coming into my home. Thank you guys for talking to me, spending some quality time with me, and I really hope you enjoyed and took away something from this. So you have a good night. Make sure you got your wine. Wind down. And cheers. Look, my glasses off, all you know. Cheers. Love you guys. Bye.